So this is our first trip, and the first trip a scientist does is a bit of exploration. Right? So we have an idea on what we might be able to research based on previous work, the literature, and then we go visit the site and see what we can see and get some ideas on how to sample, what to sample, and see what we find.
We will be looking at the microbiome down in the cave, so we'll be analyzing the samples that we take.
Basically, we're going to be going down to a bunch of different places and getting samples, like water samples and stuff like that, through the different caves.
We're going to compare these soil samples to ones closer to the cave. That way it'll just give us a bigger picture of what the microbial community in the park looks like.
So my students have been working for over a year on reading the scientific literature to find out what to look for. Right? So an informed mind helps them know what to sample when they get to a new environment they've never seen before.
This is actually so we got one from each. We got 3 samples.
So that they knew what to expect when they came here, and have a prepared mind to have some fun and understand what they were seeing.
But this is the muck that you guys pulled the stuff out of earlier.
So when we talked with Slowinski before we went down, basically he just said, because we didn't really know what to expect when we got down there, so he said just go down there, see what you see, and basically just get whatever you think would be beneficial.
Before we got down there, we kind of had an idea of the samples that we wanted to collect, but we weren't 100% sure because we didn't really, I at least didn't have a very good picture of the lake in my mind. So we got down there and we wanted to try and get some samples of the calcite rafts that are on top of the What the Hell Lake. So we did get a couple samples of those.
Characteristics of Lower Cave. Which was that the entire...
That's a chimney.
wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, no.
Previous work has shown that there's microbes in the bottom of this cave system. We were really interested in the kinds of species that they had found. So microbes that were once thought to occur only in extreme environments like the bottoms of oceans or acidic hot springs, turns out occur in regular old soils on a regular temperature and on every continent. They found those microbes at the bottom of this cave too.
So there's no carbon, there's no water. I think this, if it's was a living organism, is dead. The one down at Buffalo Gap, we have a beautiful drip point that actually, we filled an entire bottle of water just in a couple of hours.
So when I saw that they were at the bottom of this cave, even though it was a small percentage, I was really curious if the same species that lived up in the soil were somehow getting down to the bottom of this cave, and those archaea were then populating the water systems or wherever the nutrient sources are in this cave and producing biofilms. And so I thought it would be interesting to see what types of microbes were growing on the sediments, growing on the crystals that form on the lake surface, or were forming on the rocks as the water dripped down and bringing nutrients from the surface. And when this wears out, you start to see this stuff that fluoresces?
Yeah. Whereas here it's being freshly deposited on top again.
What me and Nicole got was the sediment that was on the sides of the stream that was going down. We got a couple samples of those, and then we got the calcite raft, some of that as well, and then the stuff that was up on the shore, just so we could bring back to Cedar Falls and hopefully use that in research.
So a calcite raft is like a hard layer of calcite over the lake. So if you think of like a layer of ice over a lake, it's like that, except a lot more fragile. So yeah, it's just like probably about a centimeter or so thick. We had a very scientific plastic fork that we used to sample from the calcite rafts because it was a nice flat spatula for us to use. So me and Bailey, who also went with, worked together to get that into the tube without dropping it back into the lake.
So the thing that attracted me to this project, which is a very basic science sort of question, so not an applied question, is it helps us understand how the world works. And so NASA generously has funded this to understand more about the life on this planet that is in atypical places on the planet, to better understand how life works on other planets. Right? So if we're going to be spending a lot of money visiting other planets, checking for life, getting resources, we want to know what to look for. And so doing basic research at a place like Wind Cave helps inform us when we make big policy decisions, when we make decisions about the human condition, decisions that can cost a lot of money and affect our lives.